Hi Cancers, this is Perigaea Tarot. I'm so glad to be back with you guys. I have been very insanely busy. As I think I've mentioned before, I am going through the final 6 months of my Ketu Mahadasha, which if you know anything about Vedic astrology, it's going to be a very intense time. So today I'm going to be asking the universe, what is coming up for you in the remainder of March, moving into April? What is your person thinking and feeling about you? And what is any advice you need from spirit? Please also remember that roles can be reversed, as this is a general reading. Let's take a look. Universe, what is coming up for my Cancer sign in love? What is their person thinking and feeling about them, universe? And what are any messages that my Cancer signs need to know? Universe, what is coming up for my Cancer signs in love? What is their person thinking and feeling about them? Also, what is any advice my Cancer signs need from you, from spirit? So, all right, what is coming up for my Cancer signs for the remainder? Oh, I think that was it. Just these. Oh, what are they? Interesting. So you could be about to begin a whole new cycle in confidence, Cancers. With the Strength card, that speaks to, I'm almost getting a sense of like things were holding back, they were holding back, and then all of a sudden there's going to be this burst of a new season that will just really just skyrocket you into a new state of existence, a new place where you feel like you're just on top of the world, like you've got it all, and like you're very confident. So that's fantastic. All right, universe, what do my Cancer signs need to hear and know? What is coming up for my Cancers in the remainder of March, moving into April 2023? Coming up from my Cancer signs. Interesting. So you could be dealing with a Virgo right now, Cancers, or you could have Virgo strong in your chart. Also, this could be a time when you are going to be coming out of isolation. It could be that you've been spending a lot of time in reflection, in isolation, just not going out or doing anything with friends, and that all of a sudden that's going to change. So, all right, let's just give it a couple more shuffles. What's coming up for my Cancer signs, universe? What's coming up for my Cancer signs in love? Okay. I will do. Okay. Let's do a full Celtic cross for you guys today. Okay. Make sure you can see everything there. Oh, great. Let's move this a little to the side. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. So on the bottom of the deck, we have the Ten of Swords, second time I've seen that. So I'm getting the sense, Cancers, that it could be that you've been going through an ending or a hard period in your life, but I really think that that is about to change. That's the sense I'm getting so far, that a time of going through that is over. With the Magician in the reverse, I would say that I'm sensing a feeling of powerlessness from this, that almost like the pain of what you've been going through, of this Ten of Swords over here. Oh, you can't see it on camera. Let me see if I can just adjust that really quickly. Kind of bring that into focus. I think that's okay. So the pain of the Ten of Swords over here was taking you out of your power. I would also say there's a possibility of someone perhaps staying in that pain, focusing on it, revisiting it on a constant basis, and that the nature of doing that was sort of pulling you back into manifesting the same cycle, the same circumstances, and believing that you were powerless. That could also be an issue here. With the Page of Wands in the reverse, I would say that that you've been in a place where you felt like there's vigor and there's inspiration, but it's like there's been something holding you back. And again, I feel like it's been a cycle, that there's been like a cycle where your own pain, there's been something drawing you back into a state of pain, a state of hurt that has been sabotaging you. Yeah, but I think you're ready to come out of that. I feel like this is someone who is done being in that sort of purgatory like state where they're not really in the old thing anymore, but they also haven't stepped into the new thing. Is kind of what I'm getting from this, is somebody who's like, okay, I can't stay in the middle here at the crisscross where nothing is happening. I need to, I feel like this is somebody who perhaps has been holding on to something from the past, that they're finally finding the strength to move forward. Okay. And so with the Judgment in the reverse, I also get the sense that for a long time, maybe you were holding out for something to be revived. That you were holding out for someone to come back, perhaps, to you, but that might not be where you're at anymore. With the Five of Swords in the reverse, what I'm really getting is that this was an energy of blaming yourself, that you were blaming yourself for something, and in this mindset where you were just really, really stuck, where your own perception of perhaps blaming yourself, and that it was a state of poor judgment, and that because of that you were seeing things falsely. It was keeping you in this constant cycle of self-blame, hope. I would say that there's also definitely, oh my goodness, this looks great, what I'm looking at right now. So I would say that there was an aspect of maybe the person that you've been with before was blaming you, or there could even have been some very deep wounds from childhood that you've been maybe becoming aware of, that there's been a light shining on them, and you're seeing things clearly, where you're understanding the parts of you that have caused you to allow people to take advantage of you through those wounds. But here with the Ten of Pentacles, this could signal some very good things. This could signal, what I sensed was that it was almost like everything falling into your lap all at once. Just like a very, very full cup, a very full life. This could signal financial abundance coming suddenly, but there's people here. There's dogs. There's everything. It's like a true abundance of just suddenly having everything, of suddenly having like the full enchilada. And I feel like that is being, that could just also be an abundance mindset as well. It's coming from a place of seeing things differently. Like you're being cut loose to see yourself and your life from a different perspective. And what this is resulting in is stability, celebration, cause to celebrate, good things manifesting in your life. 1111, passing through that gateway into a new life. So this is fantastic, Cancers. So let me put these down over here. Okay, so at the core of your energy here is the Ace of Swords to the Seven of Wands. And I feel like with the Ace of Swords, this is at the core of the reading, so it's the most important energy. I feel like what it's really speaking to here is just like the sword of truth. And as we have a crown here, it sits on the mind, and it symbolizes perception. It symbolizes clear perception and authority of mind. Being in a position of being in authority over your own thinking, being aware, fully clear. With the Seven of Wands, what this could mean is this could be someone who is suddenly feeling like they can fight for themselves and fight back a bit. This could also, what I've initially felt as well, is that this could be somebody who they've kind of been fighting themselves. They've been keeping themselves in a negative place, maybe perhaps because of the draw of familiarity, the familiarity of things past, of things, that they've been in. Again, it could go all the way back to childhood wounds that were being healed from. So yeah, but there is truth here, and it's cutting through all the nonsense. It's cutting away the dross, and it could be that there's something in you that is instinctually fighting this, just because you're so used to your old ways of thinking, your old ways of being, that it's almost kind of, I don't want to say necessarily offensive, but a shock to the system. In the subconscious with the star, I'm sensing that this could be a place of, because of the the upheaval of the new can definitely be a very sort of discomforting place, where we don't necessarily feel like we have the normal things that we use to comfort ourselves available to us. The familiarity of, because old emotions, no matter if they're even if they're toxic, can be very, very comforting. They can be something that make us feel like we're right at home. It has to do with brain chemistry. I don't know if any of you listen to the work of, for example, Joe Dispenza. He speaks very eloquently and very deeply about this. You might want to check him out if that resonates with you. But yeah, this could. But you also have temperance in the conscious place and the star in the subconscious. So these are both very strong healing cards. They're both cards that have to do with faith and belief, and they are in the reverse right now. But that, I feel like, because they're both there, it's you have the faith, you have grace with you, and you are healing. But the sense I'm getting from this is that it's just a little bit uncomfortable right now. Things feel a little bit, it's almost like you feel like your foundations aren't there, but they are. Like both cards are there, and what that's saying to me is that, like, the presence is there, the grace is there, the healing is there, but you're just feeling a little bit, perhaps, off kilter, sort of off balance at the moment. In the recent past, we have the Sun, which I'm sensing a couple of things from this. With the child here, I'm sensing that this is oblivion. I'm the oblivion, the naivety of childhood, where we think everything's fine because we're just, where maybe it isn't, and maybe we're just cut off from, because that's what happens to parts of ourselves when we get traumatized, is that the parts of ourselves that get traumatized, we just cut off, especially when we're a child. And so we stop sensing those places so that we can feel safe. And I'm sensing that this could be very much speaking to clarity about one's childhood, clarity about perhaps some old wounds. We have recently had Lilith transiting Cancer. And there have been some really strong aspects that have been going on in the past 6 or 7 months that speak to the releasing of wounds from childhood, perhaps of toxic parents, perhaps, toxic mother situations, but that doesn't necessarily have to apply to everybody here. But I'm sensing that this is somebody receiving clarity about their past and about themselves and about their deepest nature, going all the way back to the beginning. But in a good way, in a really positive way. And, though it is sort of something that can knock you off balance, it's really good, and that the foundations are there. So in the near future, what we have is the Seven of Pentacles to the Knight of Wands in the reverse. What I'm sensing here is almost an energy of someone really wanting to see the fruits and the harvest of the things that they've been through, perhaps the effort that they've put in. They're feeling a bit anxious. They really want to see all these fruits come forth. But as you can see, it's like over here we have the real 7 pentacles, and over here on his robe, these look like pentacles kind of, but they're not. They're fake. It's just cloth. And so I feel like this could also be a message just to, sit back and let the fruit grow, and just be patient with yourself, be present in the moment, be content in the moment. And that is what will allow the fruit to grow, is that patience, that centeredness, the mindfulness, and the being grounded in the moment. And then in your environment, look, I also feel like there's a lot of strong, really like law of attraction type messages. This feels very centered on self. This feels like very much like a self kind of message. This feels like it's saying, see abundance all around you, see joy. Stay high vibrational, stay high vibrational. And that will also cause you to bear the fruits of that, to create those things. But don't be anxious, don't be looking around for, oh, where's the fruit, and, oh, I'm so anxious, I want to make this happen. Just see it, just be grateful for what you have, express gratitude for whatever you have, and stay high vibrational. Yeah. In the hopes and fears, we have the 10 of Cups in the reverse. So I'm sensing that this could be somebody, that there is perhaps a temptation to go back into a state of grief, of focusing on something that might have been lost, or something that might have or even just negative emotional habits of perhaps feeling, feeling things that are negative from our past, perhaps again from our childhood. What we do need to remember is that if we are students of the law of attraction, that the subconscious is basically just emotion, and the subconscious reads emotion. So what we feel really does matter. So if, I'm sensing what this could be very much is sort of unconscious emotional habits that someone has indulged in without perhaps realizing it fully, that they need to resist, really. And I know that can seem, things like that can seem, if this is the reading for you, things like that can seem counterintuitive, or they can seem wrong, because it is so cathartic to validate what we're going through. But the thing is that if we believe in the law of attraction, that our emotions and that our feelings create intention, and that those things create, well then, if we keep focusing on the pain of our past, it validates that pain, and it validates the emotions of the past person who experienced that, but it keeps creating it as well, So anyways, here with the final outcome is the reversed Five of Cups. So I feel like this is about, again, this sort of the same thing of finding a way to come out of that emotional place of being in grief. Or this could just simply be, having cause to do so. So, universe, what is this Ace of Swords to the Seven of Wands? What is this Ace of Swords to the Seven of Wands? Yeah, so with the Three of Cups in the reverse, this could be somebody who perhaps has is almost, there could be a conflict between them wanting to look at the physical, the physically manifest, the real, and be honest with themselves and be like, but this is what's happening right here, right now. And conflicted between that and trying to fight that tendency, because that's a state of not seeing things abundantly, not seeing abundance in one's surroundings. So I feel like there could be a sort of a conflict with somebody of wanting, of wanting to employ the law of attraction to manifest a better life, but perhaps being tempted to be materialistically focused, just also this could be very strongly speaking about speech. The words that we speak are so powerful, and they absolutely do manifest. So I feel like this is saying, this could be speaking about a tendency to resist speaking negative words, resist speaking carelessly about one's feelings or circumstances. Especially do not speak lack. Do not speak, anything other than abundance. Universe, what is this Ace of Swords to the Seven of Wands? Yeah, because again here, you reap the harvest. You reap the harvest of your own words, of your own actions, and of your own efforts. And so you need to come out of a place of torment, worry, and do the best that you can to meditate, visualize, find peace. Don't try to be in control. Don't try to be a tyrant, and in terms of trying to, control everything and how it manifests in your life, just be content and don't worry. Yeah. Universe, what is this Star in the reverse in the subconscious position? So this is someone who I'm sensing that they are not confused. It's almost like this is someone who, because of their past emotional habits, wants to step into that place of feeling the same things over and over because they are familiar. And it's like they'll find themselves in scenarios where that emotion really wants to come up. And also I'm sensing that this could mean that there are several different pathways towards that emotion, towards the, basically, like say if you deal with like an emotion of abandonment from your childhood or a fear of abandonment, there are many different scenarios that could lead you back to that feeling. But I'm sensing that this is very much, someone who needs to not take any of those options, despite the fact that maybe you're feeling a little bit low in spirit, or feeling just simply because the foundations of your familiar emotional environments are shifting. Universe, what is this star in the reverse? What is this star in the reverse in the subconscious position? Oop. Yeah, what I'm sensing here is that you are just keep on putting those pentacles in the bank and making your deposits of your positive intentions, and then patiently wait for them to bear fruit, and just be as positive as you can. Stay out of any emotional tendencies or traps to be drawn back into a negative place. This one also came out too. So I'm sensing also, try to hold on to any awareness that the universe has given you about yourself. Try to keep those revelations fresh in your mind, that clarity fresh in your mind, so that you, and just being clear in general, being conscious, being mindful, can help you to consciously, it's almost like I'm seeing the eyes of the sun, the face of the sun, and has this like steady gaze on these 7 cups. It's like, just stay aware of this tendency in you, so that you can make sure that you don't fall into that old emotional trap. Universe, is there anything else for this? So it could be that you're having to kind of go against your own sense of normal intuition, that your own feelings of what you usually feel is so right for you, or that feels, basically, I feel like this is kind of saying that, like, just because something feels right to you doesn't mean it isn't. It can just be that it feels familiar, that it's an old friend because you've known it for a long time, but that doesn't mean it's a good friend. And just being aware of your own self is what I'm sensing here. So what is this sun in the recent past, universe? What is this sun in the recent past? So with the Page of Wands in the reverse, this is, I'm sensing that here in the recent past, you've been revisiting the past a lot and studying the past, and because of that, you have been not taking forward moving action for a long time. But it's good, because in this sort of looking backwards energy, you've been figuring out who you are and realizing things about yourself that are extremely important. I'd say that you've been fighting a lot for a long time, that there has been a hefty burden of effort, of all these kinds of things that you've been having to do for a while now. But I also sense that what's coming here for you is a much lighter season, where you can be much more in a place of childish bliss. With the 10 of Cups in the reverse, again, see, we have it twice here. This is someone who, I'd say in the past, you were constantly going back to this emotional habit of loss, of betrayal. I'm sensing here that it could be both romantic and, and just family-based, because generally that can be the thing that starts those kinds of wounds for us, is that if we felt abandoned as a child, for example, and we dealt with those things, if our needs were abandoned, if we were emotionally abandoned through various forms of abuse, then we can repeat those emotions by feeling compassion for ourselves and pity for ourselves, which we deserve to and need to. And yet those very emotions can become the thing that repeats that cycle into our adult life, because again, our subconscious creates. So I feel like this is something that you've become aware of, and you need to be very, very, very clear with yourself that, to not do that. Yeah. So with the 4 of Pentacles here in the reverse, I feel like it's like these emotions have been like a security blanket. They've protected parts of you that you were that could have been very wounded. And those emotions kept that place within you safe. But with the star here, your clarity, the star and the sun, your clarity here is healing you. And you are finding a way out, We have the Six of Wands as well, so victory. You know, you've gained you've gained footing, you've gained standing. You are, yeah, and you're giving yourself love about your childhood, about any of those past wounds that happened to keep you hurting and to keep you in that place of constant hurt. So, universe, what is this Temperance card in the reverse? Yeah, I would say that it's very possible that if you have dealt with abandonment issues from your childhood, Cancers, that it has created a sense of bereftness in you that that could have actually caused physical poverty. This is often what can happen with many people. So I'd say that you are in a place right now, Cancers, where you are healing from that energy, but also I would say that it's important to be patient, to be grounded, to be in the moment. Yeah, because I would say that for a long time you've just been so focused on trying to avoid bad things that you weren't able to really focus on positive things. And I feel like the universe really wants to bring you out of that. What is this Temperance in the reverse, universe, for the conscious mind? What is this Temperance in the reverse for the conscious mind? With the Hierophant here, I'd say that you have a strong faith, and that this could be saying too that study, faith, doing the best you can to really maybe even seek some fellowship from other people who believe the same thing that you believe, whatever it is, would be very helpful at this point. Universe, what is this Temperance in the reverse in the conscious mind? With the Knight of Swords here also, there could be anxiety. What I'm sensing is that with the Temperance in the reverse, Tower in the reverse, this is somebody who it can be very anxious, very, very anxious. And this is basically someone who needs to come into a new perspective. They need to find their new perspective. And again, we have the Hanged Man with the Ten of Pentacles. So we need to turn that Ten of Pentacles, in the upright here. Get you into a place where you are perceiving abundance by being grounded emotionally. And something that can be very, very important and helpful for that is trauma can get trapped in the body. There are many, many exercises that you can do that can help that, but also, looking around you and seeing what you do have and being grateful for those things creates that essence of abundance, and it manifests. What we perceive to be happening to us manifests. And so if this is your reading and you do have some old childhood wounding, what would be very good is to look up look up anywhere on Google, how to release trauma from the body. There are many, many easy exercises that we can do. Also, spending time to read, to breathe, to exercise lightly, take nice walks, do things that we enjoy. Things like this are all very, very helpful for that. So, but there are a lot of physiological exercises that we can do that are very, very easy that really help with those kinds of traumas. So, universe, what is this Seven of Wands to the Knight of Wands in the reverse? I think that was my card. What is the Seven of Pentacles to the Knight of Wands? Is there anything else for the Temperance in the reverse, universe? I feel like this is somebody also who needs to learn to be a little bit more selfish. There could be coping mechanisms here where somebody externalized their empathy and externalized their power into other people's hands as a way of coping with trauma when they were in childhood, maybe. That this is someone who needs to learn to pick up the sword and not feel ashamed, to know that it's not wrong to be plentiful, to be wealthy, to be abundant. Because that's the thing, is that when we are abused by a narcissist, for example, as a child, we can be terrified, shamed, have all kinds of things happen to us for expressing things like happiness and confidence. And so even just becoming someone who defends themselves on a basic level can be something that they end up feeling guilt and shame for. So this is someone who you need to, I'm sensing this is someone who, it's like, stop looking at these other people, and it's actually okay, you know, sometimes to think about yourself and pick up your sword. And it's okay to have your own sword, you know, not everybody else's sword, but it's okay, you know, to take care of yourself. Be a little more cutthroat, you know, pick up your sword. Here's the sword at the core of the reading here. Pick up your sword. It's a sword in a hand. You know, take up your authority. It's okay. You have the right to be on your own side. You know, don't be a, you know, total extortionist or a opportunist. Don't hurt other people. But if this resonates with you, if you are somebody who has been made to feel guilty and ashamed and afraid to succeed, don't be afraid to take up your sword and take up your power and be your own ally and be your own friend. Universe, what is this Seven of Pentacles to the Knight of Wands in the reverse? Yeah, so here we have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. So I feel like with this Ace of Swords in the reverse, this is somebody who they've learned about their bondages, but they're still kind of in a place where they're still kind of affected by them. And because of that, they're not completely standing in that abundance, standing in that empowerment that they need to. And because of that, they're kind of like, you know, perceiving, I feel like what this is mainly doing is it's externalizing their ability. It's perceiving that you don't have the power to bring the things that you wish. Again, you know, I don't want to gaslight anybody who is struggling or anything like that. But if you know, I personally, it is my belief that our subconscious creates, and that we have been given this sovereign power over our own lives to create via our subconscious. And so when we have been conditioned to externalize this power, perhaps because of the conditioning of society or because of our own upbringing, we can perceive that we need to just take a handout from somebody, that we can't bring things into our own lives, and we are vibrating at that state of not having, and that's not being in your power. You need to, and what I'm sensing here is that this could still be somebody who does have a tendency to get caught up in some of the old bondages from childhood that they now understand, but that are still, you know, sort of habitual, where they feel perhaps afraid to take up their sword and be on their own side and believe in themselves, because they associate standing up and being confident with receiving a blow, you know, or they associate standing up and being confident with being a bad person, or essentially expecting some form of punishment, because that's what would happen to them when they were young. And so they're holding themselves back out of fear, because they don't want to receive that blow. So I feel like what the universe is basically saying is that you've got the clarity, and good things are coming. We've got the Ten of Pentacles, we've got the Four of Wands as our ultimate, you know, base card here, and the Hanged Man. So we have all these tools, but just make sure that you're staying aware of the tools you've been given, keeping them fresh in your mind, and consciously stepping into this new energy of empowerment, of taking up your sword. It is all, you know, like perhaps for some people, for example, if you were raised by a narcissist, maybe, or abused by a narcissist, then you could be coming from a place where you feel that, where you've externalized all of your empathy, you've externalized all of your consciousness, or sorry, your validation, all of your sort of emotional tools and things that you have to give to yourself. You were forced to externalize them onto your abuser, for example. And so you were only rewarded, and things were kept stable, the most stable, when you gave them whatever they wanted. And so that could have caused an association between, you know, being down on oneself, seeing oneself as being not good enough, seeing oneself as not being someone who gets what they want, that would be the thing that would keep things the most stable, or give you the closest thing to love that you could get. So I feel like this is the universe basically saying, you need to stay conscious of these things you've learned. You need to stay conscious of the ways that you have, because this is, if you don't heal, you can't bring that new abundance into your life and actually get what you wish, because you're keeping yourself in a state of perceiving. You're looking into the future, but you're also looking into a negative future, like, you need to look in those deep subconscious places and understand what's going on, and really bring forth that new perspective of abundance, that clarity, the clarity. Universe, what is this 3 of Cups in the reverse? So yeah, with the King of Swords here, there's just a truth. Take up your sword. I'm seeing this as this could be you, male or female. This is someone taking up their sword, looking at the truth of what has happened to them, what was done to them, but just being in their power. They're solid. Look at this, another one, Justice. In your power, solid. In justice. Yeah, because with the Empress here in the reverse, this could definitely have been like a mother figure, a negative mother figure. What I'm sensing is that what could perhaps happen is that the traumas of the past and the memory and the sort of body memory of them could put you into a state of anxiety. And when that anxiety pops up, that's what causes you to get into this place of like, oh, nothing's okay. Oh gosh, and you come out of the present, and then you start trying to cope. And instead of being present, and instead of, and then you're externalizing your perception of who's powerful. You are powerful. You're powerful. The sword is in your hand. So the sword is in your hand here. So I feel like there could be some flip-flopping, some weeble-wobbling, but I think mainly just staying conscious of the things that have been shown to you is of the utmost importance, and taking up your power. And being grateful as well. What is this 10 of Cups in the reverse, universe? I feel like this is, I feel like, again, this is almost like a warning, like a reminder that that you are strong and you're very, very clear. I feel like mentally that's not the problem. I feel like what happens is that emotions come in that pull you out of your clarity and start reactions happening in your body. Certainly this is, when children, for example, are abused or people are abused, they develop anxiety and panic disorders that just where fight or flight just gets triggered. And then that fight or flight starts controlling how you think, what you think. So, it's becoming and staying aware of these emotional triggers, being, staying strong, holding on to your sword, and that's staying clear about what these things are. Not just, falling back down into that emotional state of feeling, but keeping yourself clear, mentally clear. We have the sword here. That's the theme, is holding on to your sword, being strong, keeping yourself clear in your mind about these issues so that the emotions don't just roll right in and take you back into la la land of the past experiences. So, universe, what is this 5 of Cups in the reverse? So I'd say that you're dealing with some pretty intense stuff right now, that, some wounds that you've perhaps kept guarded your whole life are being dealt with. So that's difficult, and that some big stuff is coming up. But give yourself compassion, give yourself compassion, give yourself a break. What is this 5 of Cups in the reverse? I also feel like a minute ago, what the universe wanted me to say was understanding that the change, what will sometimes happen is it could be that you're waiting for something, like perhaps some kind of abundance, and when you start going into that place of powerlessness, you start externalizing that power and perceiving that the power is outside of you, or that it's somewhere in the future rather than in the present, and that is the thing that takes you out of the place of your abundance. That's the thing that takes you out of the place where you can actually create what you wish to create. So it's very important that you understand that you don't go into that sort of passive-minded place where you think, oh, it's somewhere in the future. You know, I'm scared now, but it's, you know, it'll happen somewhere in the future. Someone will help me. I feel like the universe is wanting you to understand that you have the power, and that you have all the tools that you need, but you just need to remain sharp in relationship to these tools. But I am seeing a time of coming out of isolation. It could help to spend some time with people, not be as isolated. Universe, what is this Five of Cups in the reverse? Yeah, it still feels like there's still some transformation going on. It's not quite over yet. There's still some healing. So I'm sensing, but what I'm also sensing is, you know, don't be hard on yourself. You know, don't be hard on yourself. This is hard stuff. You know, this is intense stuff, and it will come to it. Oh, we have over here some very promising cards. These were the core cards that really show like what's going on, you know, at its core. And we have the Ten of Pentacles. That's fantastic. The Hangman, change perspective, and the Four of Wands, which is like one of the best cards that there are. And they're all in the upright. Very happy, very great things coming towards you. Universe, is there anything else for the Five of Cups in the reverse? Okay. Yeah, I feel like what this is saying most of all is, I feel like it's mainly saying, give yourself a break. You know, understand that things are shifting. Stay aware, stay conscious of what it is that the universe has shown you, and everything will be all right. Okay, so I hope that helped you guys. It looks like it wasn't as focused on romance, but I'm sure that this is going to help somebody out there. So I hope you guys are well, and I'll speak to you soon.